So okay, matlab this is your first interview. So
Yes, sir.
I'd be asking you about you first.
So, sir, my name is Nikhil and I'm from Munger district, which is in Bihar. I completed my education, primary education till 10th in Bihar, Munger only. And I have a joint family of very big joint family. Actually, around 40 people live together. And in my close family, I have a elder sister. My father and mother both are teachers. For my senior secondary, I actually moved on to Ranchi Jawahar Vidya Mandir, and there I pursued my interest of humanities, which actually at that time was quite difficult to make people understand why I'm pursuing that at home and in friends group. And then after that, I went on to Delhi University, where I got Sri Venkateshwara College, and I studied history as my major. And so during all this time, like from my school time to graduation and after that also, co-curriculars was something I was always interested in. Like school time, I was really into sports. Then in senior secondary with sports, I took NSS, and same at college. I worked with the social service society, and I took part in student activism, and I contested Delhi University's
Okay,
elections
so
as well.
it's good.
Yes,
Just
sir.
one improvement. You should remember that there are three kind of activities that happens.
Yes, sir.
One is curricular.
Yes, sir.
So curricular activities are those activities which are the requirement of the course. It's not
Yes,
the
sir.
subject actually, but the project or paper writing which is required to complete the course. So
Right.
those activities are called curricular activities.
Yes.
There is another kind of activities which is co-curricular activities. So these activities are such activities which is not required from the university or the college, but you do it to strengthen your course knowledge only.
Right. Right.
Like if you are studying history honors and you are also doing a workshop which is based on history, but this workshop will not actually counted as your coursework, or uh, it will not have any credit from your course. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And and the last is extracurricular activities. So these activities are basically those activities which doesn't have any connection with your course.
Okay,
So
sir.
like the sports and theater and uh, sports, theater, skate, singing, dancing. So whatever you do,
Yes,
they
sir.
are called extracurricular activities.
Extracurricular. Right.
ठीक है, तो जो लास्ट में तुमने को करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज करके जितनी भी बातें बताई, तो मोस्टली दे बिलोंग टू एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटी.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so the question for you is like you have lived in joint family and this is quite a big joint family.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what is the dynamics of this family? Like how does the finances being how are the finances are being managed, and how are the decision making are being done, and how democratic it is, or you do have a family leader, everyone follows him. So what is the dynamics of it?
So, sir, yes. So this is actually a very interesting question. So, being in a family of 40, there comes a times when there is conflict in decision making, or you have to go through a lot of people. Being a younger sibling in a house or in a family, joint family, I have to actually go through a lot of people. But this actually makes uh, me what I am, because things like having so much people around and learning from them. Uh, Talking about how the joint family works, what I have experienced personally is that this is something which actually defines the rural scenario which we are living in, or we have lived in a sense that it is quite democratic. People actually listen to each other. Children are there in things like when there are any family festivals are going to be there, or any occasion are there. So we actually sit together and discuss things. Everybody works, like nobody can be excused, or nobody is excused that you can't do this or you have to do this. So at the time when there is pressure on you doing something, you actually enjoy things because you live with so many people, and you actually get to learn a lot because there are so many people from different background doing different things. Like I have a family where there are people doing farming and there are people who are in civil services. So this diversity is something which I actually relish in our joint family.
Okay, so matlab basically my question was more of finding the challenges,
Okay.
rather
Okay.
than giving all the pros that you have. तो
Okay.
तुमने ध्यान से सुना नहीं क्वेश्चन को, मैंने ये पूछा था कि जो डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज हैं या फाइनेंसेस हैं वो कैसे मैनेज होते हैं. सो
Okay.
स्पेसिफिकली मैंने ये टर्म लिया था और डिसीजन
हाँ
मेकिंग.
जी, हाँ जी,
तो
yes.
तुमने अपने पर्सपेक्टिव से तो बता दिया कि फॉर यू टू मेक एनी डिसीजन यू हैव टू गो थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, है ना, या फिर यू told me about the all the good thing that is being happened there and
Yes,
some
sir.
challenges also. But
Yes.
क्वेश्चन को माइंड करो कि क्या पूछा जा रहा है. तो फाइनेंसेस में you could have told that everybody is having their own income and they share the
So they actually
household
pool it
expenditure.
together. Yes.
हाँ, तो इस तरह का बता देना चाहिए था तुम्हें, क्योंकि
Yes. Yes.
ऑलवेज रिमेम्बर जो पूछा गया वो जरूर बताओ,
Yes. Yes.
है ना. तो
Yes.
मतलब थोड़ा ध्यान से सुना करो कि क्या क्वेश्चन एग्जैक्टली उसका कंपोनेंट क्या है, एंड
Yes, sir.
देन आफ्टर लिसनिंग द क्वेश्चन केयरफुली देन ओनली आंसर. Okay.
Yes.
So Nikhil, so tell me about your graduation and after your graduation, matlab, what kind of education you had in your graduation, and what did you do after that?
Okay. So, sir, actually, 12th till 12th, I was not knowing much about DU. So after I went to Ranchi, I got to know about DU, and I took history as my majors in graduation. And I was actually opting for three subjects, and I got history in a very good college. So I went for history. History as a subject actually broadened my view of the world and gave me a critical perspective which I actually lacked. There were papers and with projects and theories which actually helped me develop my personality. Like there were field work during our college time, and at the same time there were new papers introduced on heritage and on understanding the global culture in history. So those papers actually made me understand what the world view was. They were papers which were general papers, the theories paper of ancient history and medieval history and modern history, the world history. But at the same time, there were things which were introduced, and I got to learn a lot. After my graduation from history, I started preparing for civil services, and I took a break of 1 year, uh, and I stayed in Delhi. After that, I came back to my hometown, and I actually started doing work with uh, 3 to 4 NGOs simultaneously. And in my free time, I volunteered with government schools, and I taught kids, which I am continuing still like right now. And I continued my preparation too, but that part was not in the majors after that 1 year of college. So I continued my social work thing after 1 year.
So, Nikhil, I would like to know the history that you have read in your graduation. So, how this course or knowledge from this course or how history itself, let's say you have not studied some part of history, or you might have wished to study some part of history. So, history as all, matlab, I'm not saying what you know, history as a subject or history as a knowledge or history as a subject domain, how it can help in your subject, like the course you have applied, which is livelihood and social entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir. So history, my background as a student of history actually gives what I think is actually gives me a better understanding of the subject, because to do social work or to pursue social work as a career, I or any other student who is pursuing this got to know the background of it, and history as a course gave me that. Secondly, as a historian, I think I'm equipped with the knowledge of linkage, which many people lack, to link the past to present and to move on to future. How historian sees it is something others lack. So this gives me a better understanding of this course. and using history to teach social work, therefore, I think goes beyond the knowledge or presentation into the literature and legend and learning about people who did social work. And history helps the students to develop skills, reaffirm the validity of social work, and it demonstrates their ability to uh, be persistent in the social problems. And most important, what I think is it gives me a critical perspective to see things, which is a problem solving approach. So all these things as a historian would actually help me pursue this course a lot better.
So there is 2 point of observation here
Yes, sir.
for you. One, that you always do this in your DAF also. So when you have applied for master in social work with the specialization of livelihood and social entrepreneurship, so every time you tend to forget the specialization part.
Yes, yes.
So the entire answer was moved around social work.
Social work. Yes.
है ना? And the second point, I clearly asked in your question, okay, you can also forget that what you know. You can also tell history as a subject how it can help
Yes,
in
sir.
your stream.
Yes, sir.
So the potential, all these things that you spoke, that was okay, that you should speak because the course is social work only,
Yes,
है
sir.
ना? But you should align it in a bit like with history. You can understand how people have been developing their livelihood
Right.
before,
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
how the different resources, a resource based, population centered civilization happened in previous time.
Yes,
And and you can also read that what kind of vulnerability may come to recent livelihood by taking the example of previous cases,
yes, sir.
you know. And the help that you can get from history is heritage based livelihood or cultural heritage or infrastructural heritage based livelihood. And this is a big thing. See, we were just talking about before your interview that Munger as a city has a very rich heritage, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
we could have made it a big point in the world map that people of world should have come to this place and
Yes, sir.
maybe enjoyed yoga or learned yoga and move around the all the historical monument
Historical
and
place. Yes.
enjoy the Ganga river also.
Yeah.
So if they could have come and if we would have been able to market that with the history, you know, more and more people would have come to your place, and the entire community of yours, you know, entire the Munger, entire community of poor community of Munger might have got some livelihood opportunities there.
Yes.
So history, cultural heritage, you know, and the tradition based heritage and the infrastructure based heritage and the practices that historical practices, traditional practices that we do, it can be very much utilized in generating livelihood
Right.
because there is a big market for that. And again, see, so many of the time we see that there was this language which is being lost, you know, because nobody is using it these
Yes, sir.
days.
Yes,
Or
sir.
we say that there is this tradition that which is dying, or we say there is this food item or this type of food habit is being died. So if with the knowledge of history, if we can preserve that and make it sellable to the market, and if we can find market for that product or service, and we can easily develop livelihood for the people, those who are good at it,
Yes, sir.
है
I
ना?
got your point. Yes, sir. So using
So
history, how to use history to generate livelihood, that connection is very
exactly,
important.
because the subject is this, na?
Yes,
So
sir.
the all the point that you talk about was mainly covering the social work part,
Social work part.
that you understand the society well, you know how they have been, these issues has been developing, social issues has been being developed, है ना? तो
Yes,
वो
sir.
सब तो तुम बताया, तुमने ठीक किया, बट वो सब्जेक्ट के सेंस जो है तुम्हारा वो एलएससी की तरफ जाना चाहिए,
Yes, sir.
है ना? और सिंस देखो मैंने ये भी बोला था कि जो तुम्हें नहीं पता है वो भी बोल सकते हो, एज ए हिस्ट्री कैसे फायदा करेगा। तो
Yes,
कई
sir.
बार होता है कि हमें नहीं पता कि कल्चरल हेरिटेज क्या है किसी जगह का, बट सिंस यू नो द हिस्ट्री, यू कैन इजिली रीड द कल्चरल हेरिटेज ऑफ दैट प्लेस। ओके, समझ रहे हो मेरी बात?
Yes, sir.
कोई बात नहीं है, मतलब उनको नमस्ते बोलो माता जी को मेरी तरफ से भी। तो तुम हटा क्यों रहे हो कैमरा? इट्स ओके। सो द पॉइंट इज कि मतलब being a history student, you can easily understand the heritage, cultural or traditional heritage, and you can make a products and service out of it. है ना? So
Yes, sir.
this is the way you can get help.
Yes.
And the second question for you is like, there was a question in my mind for you. Okay, leave it for now. Tell me, what do you see for yourself in next 10 years or 12 years?
So, sir, after this course, doing TISS, so I have actually not thought a lot about what I will pursue, but yes, I have plans starting from I want to after college, the immediate future, if I would like to talk upon, is that I would obviously go to some organization like NGOs or PSUs where I could pursue this particular course in a very constructive way, where this various skill which I will acquire from social work and livelihood and social entrepreneurship would be used to my full potential, where I can actually use this in field and in theory, which I would study, because this course is actually very beautifully planned. And after that, my plans are that I will continue my preparation for civil services along with pursuing a job or a career in social work, because to my
Okay,
understanding.
मतलब stop here. ये बहुत short term plans बोल रहे हो, और एक तो after 10 year down the line, 12 year down the line, जब मैं तुमसे पूछ रहा हूँ तो थोड़ा उसी orientation में बताओ. You could have tell that after this course, when I would have good knowledge of livelihood or entrepreneurial ventures, so I want to develop matlab myself as a very key person in the world or in nation who can actually working for the livelihood of millions of people, है ना? After 10 year down the line, अगर तुम same stream में
आई
काम
वाज
करना
एक्चुअली
चाहते हो
गोइंग देयर, वो
तो
मैं थोड़ा
तो
स्लो,
तुम,
हाँ,
हाँ, तो उसमें
पॉइंटर्स में
ये
जाने लग
इधर
गया.
इधर वाला दूसरा यूपीएससी वाली बात नहीं करो, बिकॉज सी
ओके.
द प्रोफेसर्स एट टिस, है ना,
यस.
they are very obsessed about their course. So
ओके.
they want that if I'm training someone for livelihood issues, he
यस सर.
must do something for livelihood also.
ओके सर. यस.
So even if this is in your mind, है ना, उनको ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं कि तुम आईएएस क्यों बन रहे हो, बट तुम ये सोच के नहीं चल सकते कि हम पढ़ाई करते वक्त तैयारी करेंगे,
तैयार करेंगे, राइट, बिकॉज
है
दे
ना,
विल सी
या
इट एज
आफ्टर.
their investment going vain and my I am
हाँ
planning
हाँ
something else. Yes.
हाँ, तो थोड़ा 10 ईयर डाउन द लाइन में अपनी पर्सनालिटी को, अपने अथॉरिटी को बड़ा दिखाओ कि
Okay.
आई वांट टू बी द पर्सन and key person or trustful person for governments or for policy makers that send this person to generate livelihood in this area. I want to be that trustful.
So actually मैं अगर आपसे personally बताऊं तो my plans are
हम्म.
that I want to actually go in politics in the long term.
वो
So
तो
can I
ठीक है,
actually face
मतलब
that?
आफ्टर हाँ, तो ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन से आफ्टर 10 year 12 year, when you will be develop your personality or your not personality profile in that big way, you can literally go to politics, and that's good, because through politics, through policy, you can actually make bigger plans for that.
Bigger plans, right?
हाँ, तो ये तो कह सकते हो, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट तुम अपने कोर्स को जस्टिफाई करोगे ना, एक
हाँ
लाइफ
जी, हाँ
लॉन्ग
जी.
एक अंडरलाइनिंग एफर्ट तुम्हारा रहना चाहिए ना, टू डेवलप द लाइवलीहुड ऑफ पीपल. एज अ पॉलिटिशियन बोलो तुम, मे बी आफ्टर बीइंग द पॉलिटिशियन यू माइट बी द मिनिस्टर ऑफ लेबर और मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज,
Yes, sir.
है ना, you could do anything, because we need trained politicians.
Politician.
And even after being UPSC, I can expect you might go into um, livelihood based policy making.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can always say that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and one thing is very sure, that your understanding and alignment with the livelihood part of the program is very less. You're kind of ignoring it at everywhere.
Okay. Yes.
समझो, तो उसको एक्सपर्टीज को बोलो कि मुझे चाहिए, मतलब आई वांट टू बी दैट स्मार्ट कि मैं किसी भी रीजन पे जाऊं, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड द लाइवलीहुड इश्यूज. इफ वल्नरेबल है तो आई कैन स्ट्रेंथन दैट, है ना, इफ लॉस्ट है तो आई कैन ब्रिंग द अल्टरनेट सॉल्यूशन.
Okay, sir. Yes,
दिस
sir.
कैपेबिलिटी दैट यू शुड लुक फॉर. है ना, क्योंकि ये तुम्हारा कोर्स उसी स्पेशलाइजेशन पे काम कर रहा है ना, समझ में आ रही है मेरी बात?
हाँ जी सर।
ओके, तो let's conclude this interview. I'll ask one last question for you, one question, that tell me about the livelihood situation in Bihar.
Okay. So, sir, Bihar, being a state where majority, I think majority of its population is still into agriculture, but there are diverse livelihood generation going on. Like there are allied sectors with agriculture, and other than that, service sector and manufacturing sector, or very small micro enterprise. But majority population still lives on agriculture and survives on agriculture.
Okay,
And
okay. I don't think that you have good data with this question. Just tell me,
yes, sir. Not Bihar related actually. I don't have.
but you should have. That is, you should have
Yes, sir.
all the data related to your state. The
Okay, sir.
subject, मतलब subject concerned.
Yes, sir.
The last question for you is like, there is a Bihar Jivika in your
Yes, sir.
state.
Yes, sir.
So tell me the initiatives taken by that in organization, and tell me how good or how bad they are doing.
Sir, so Bihar Jivika is actually a project which is World Bank assisted, and where it is a community driven project assisted by World Bank. And the main goal of Bihar Jivika is to reduce poverty, and Bihar government and World Bank are working together on it. There are many sub schemes working under Bihar Jivika, which I actually don't remember right now. And
ओके, चलो तो फिर स्टॉप हियर। तो ये दो होमवर्क है तुम्हारे लिए, ठीक है?
okay, sir.
एक तो अपने स्टेट का डेटा,
Okay, sir.
कि कहाँ कहाँ पे लाइवलीहुड के क्या क्या ऑप्शंस हैं, कितने
Yes,
लोग
sir.
किस में इन्वॉल्व हैं, है ना, किस किस सेक्टर में कितने लोग काम करते हैं। एम्प्लॉयमेंट डेटा आता है, हर स्टेट का आता है, इंडिया का भी आता है,
Yes, sir. Yes,
वो
sir.
पढ़ो। ठीक
Mhm.
है, कितने लोगों के पास कोई लाइवलीहुड नहीं है, कितने लोग मनरेगा के साथ अपनी जीवन चला रहे हैं, एंड बिहार जीविका जो है उसके इनिशिएटिव्स क्या क्या हैं, और उसको
Yes, sir.
क्रिटिकली एनालाइज करो कि वेदर दे आर एबल टू डू एनीथिंग और नॉट,
Okay,
है ना,
sir.
एज अ पॉलिसी। ठीक
Okay,
है,
sir.
देखो, ये पॉलिसी बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन और एंटरप्रेन्योरियल बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन अलग अलग होता है। तो हालांकि बिहार जीविका के थ्रू एंटरप्रेन्योरियल बेस्ड भी सॉल्यूशन कई बार डेवलप किए जाते हैं,
Yes, sir.
बट उसको तुम डिटेल में पढ़ो, ठीक है, उनकी
Yes, sir.
वेबसाइट पे जाके।
Thank you.